Last time in the Star Wars Chronicles, the Prophesied King. A legend was told that would one day come save the kingdom of Starvania from Darky. A man named David was tasked to find him within a town in Arizona. During his escape, Mikey managed to find David before David found him. And after his meeting, David explained Mikey his purpose and what he needed to be done. At first, Mikey was skeptical and didn't believe David because of how far-fetched it sounded. But after seeing Dark Warriors attack them, he soon believed what David said, and decided to travel along with him to hopefully put an end to all of this. Episode 2. The Hellish Hybrid. We now see David and Mikey walking through a forest. It wasn't dense, but it did take a while for them to walk through. They had to set up camp, but David set up pretty much all of it. Now the two sit by the fire as the night begins to fall. Alright, so if I remember correctly, I'm supposed to be the wizard guy in order to save my kingdom. Yep. And to make sure I do this, we need to get the sword of the king. Well, there's more to it. The sword is one thing, getting you ready for the fight is another. Speaking of which, I'm still wondering how to get you prepared for them. Wait, you don't know how to do that? My task was to find and keep an eye on you. I wasn't told much more outside of that. I see. The two sat there for a bit, wondering what to say next, until David thought of a few questions. So, I see you got accustomed to your powers already. When did that happen? One day I noticed the aura around me, and all of a sudden, I started to do things no other kid can do at the orphanage. I guess after a while I got comfortable with it. Is that a fact? Well, it's not the first time I heard about it. Though there's probably a few things you don't know you can do yet. Can you teach me, then? I already told you. I don't know your power set. The cosmic ability is something only a star gets at, and as you know, I'm not one of them. Right. I thought you could help me a little bit. There's so much I still don't know or understand. Having second thoughts? No, not at all. In fact, a part of me likes that kind of mystery in the adventure. I never got this kind of thrill at the orphanage. Are you willing to tell me that you left that place because you felt caged? Yes, my entire life there. I constantly had one person or another always watching me. They never let me do anything really dangerous, and when I do something like that, I get scolded. It's like that ever since I found out I had powers, so that's why I try to escape. I want to have some freedom in what I can do. Interesting. I can now see why you were grateful back there. However, though, I do agree a healthy dose of freedom is needed. There are some things you need to protect a kid from. Like an evil wizard? Heh, good one. I also did say you weren't ready yet. I know. Come on, let's get some rest. We have a lot of work ahead of us, and we need all the strength we can get. Both went to their respective tents and rested soundly through the night. Morning arrives, and they continue making their way through the forest. It took a good bit, though, as half a day passed before they found their way out of it. On the other side was another town, a little smaller than the last one. Filled with brick and wooden buildings, they walked closer to it while seeing a wooden sign to the side saying Pit Stop Village, home for making quick pit stops. The two walked into one of the bigger buildings, which had the words hotel on the front. Inside was a receptionist who looked eager when she saw them walk in. Hi, welcome to Pit Stop Hotel. Are you planning to rent a room today? Both Mikey and David were caught off guard by this eager woman, but they went along with it. Just in for a night. Perfect. That will make one adult and one child. Bringing it total to $6. $6. I know we're staying for one night, but that sure is cheap. Well, you are the first customers we had in a long time, so we're trying to make a good first impression. David paid the price as instructed, but Mikey was still confused. Why is that the case? Is it because this place will be in the middle of nowhere? Not really. Actually, this place is easy to spot for almost everyone. It's just, well, this town has a history. What history? The receptionist took a deep breath, hoping they wouldn't leave under this. If you're staying here, I suppose it's right that you should know what's going on. You see, this town has a certain resident that sets off a lot of people. He came here a long time ago, before I was born in fact. He lives out up top of the hill, and, well, he isn't the best guy to be around. How bad are we talking? Some days he comes to town in a fiery, demon-like state, antagonizing the people that live here. He made quite a name for himself. They call him the Hell Hybrid, and with that name, it scared many visitors away. Pretty much ruining any type of business this place has. If it wasn't for the fact that he scared the taxpayers away, we would have had to worry about losing our stores. And it's also one of the few reasons no one has bothered to kick him out of town. I see. Mikey didn't question any further, as the gist was pretty much laid out. She handed them the keys, and they went into their hotel room. The hybrid stayed in Mikey's mind, however, as it refused to leave it. Hey, David, what's a hybrid? A hybrid is a person who has more than one ability, though those type of people are rare and not even Sarvadian. Is that what that man is? Could be. By the sounds of it, it's more likely he's two minds in that body. Kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde, if you ever heard that story. I have. If those stories relate to this man, do you think he might be a nice guy? We shouldn't be worried about it. He's not our problem, and it's not our place to meddle in our people's affairs. Well, I think we should help out. And why is that? Just a feeling I got. Who knows? He might have helped us out as well. Think about it. There are a lot of people out there looking for us. And while two of us are pretty good, or pretty lucky as we ended up only facing 2 Dark Warriors back there instead of more, which helps prove my point. Seeing how you still think I'm not ready yet, plus he might know something about defeating Darky. And you said I seem far-fetched with my statements. Where'd your sense of reason go in the past 2 days? I understand where you're coming from, but at this point we can use all the help we can get. I know you know that. David took a deep breath and looked out the window to think. Alright, I suppose we can visit the guy, but if anything happens, we bolt out of there. You got me? Yep. They walk up the hill close to the village to see a rundown shack on top of it. It wasn't much, but it's someone's place to go home. David knocked on the door, but no response. I suppose he's out. That's unfortunate. Just like that one dude from the orphanage. Mikey began to shudder a little as the memory came back. What dude? Oh, no one. That's a whole story I don't feel like talking about. Then they heard a voice come from the right. Who goes there? Are you friend or foe? David spawned his flame bow in, and tried to look around the place to see where the voice came from. The two then noticed a man walking up to him with a serious look. He had a yellow metallic armor that covered everything except his arms, hands, neck, and face. He also had a red torn apart cape that went down to his hips, and chains that wrapped around his forearms. Do I need to repeat myself? No need, we heard you the first time. We're friends. My name is Mikey, and this is David. Are you sure? Mikey nodded his head, and David put his bow away. The man took a deep breath, and he had a more relaxed look on his face. I see. Sorry about the rude introduction, then. Too many times that people come up here and try to kick me out. The name's Terry. No last name to that. Pleasure to meet you both. Pleasure is ours. Terry had investigated too, and knows he knew nothing about them. Say, you aren't from here, aren't you? The two shook their heads, and if I'm correct to assume, you heard about me from the townspeople. You are correct in that assumption? Do you mind if we come in and discuss it there? As long as you promise to attack me in any way, shape, or form. Then I see no harm in doing so. He didn't let the others inside. Not much to the place, I know, but I'm guessing you won't stay here for long anyway. The two sat on a worn-down couch, noticing burn marks on the throne. I also apologize for the mess. I had a bit of a moment earlier today. Right, and before we continue, is what the townspeople say about you true? You're gonna have to elaborate. They say a lot about me. The part about antagonizing people, and you being called the Hell Hybrid? After Mikey said that, Terry twitched for a bit with his eyes being wide open, but he held composure with David looking at him cautiously. For starters, don't ever call me that. Okay, I don't antagonize people, at least not intentionally. In fact, based on those facts, I can tell you every word they said about me is not true. I would like for you to not bring it up again. I hate when people keep spilling lies about me. So you aren't a hybrid. Terry's face then turned grim, soon furiously. I already told you to stop calling me that! They both began to worry a little, and David almost pulled out his bow, but he stopped after Terry calmed himself down. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to lash out like that. David began to talk quietly to himself, mumbling words they couldn't identify. David leaned to Mikey's ear. Look, there's something clear wrong with this guy. I think it's best that we leave. Mikey nodded, and he tried to keep a smile on his face during the time to keep Terry calm. Right, well, it's getting pretty late. We need to get going now, if you don't mind. Terry just noticed him walking out. It didn't stop him. He just waved goodbye as he kept mumbling to himself. Back at the hotel room. Well, answers our question about him. What a shot. It's not like we have anything else to go by. I get it. You don't want us to be lost. But let's face it, the guy clearly is a nutcase. And he said that scream was heard from the outside. David then ran out the window as he saw some people run away from the hill. He then looked at Mikey with a serious look as he got his bow out. Mikey nodded. I understand what needed to be done. They both ran outside into the road, getting ready for a fight. Is it a Dark Warrior? Not sure, but I don't like taking that kind of risk. As he said, he heard sinister laughter as the air grew hotter. They then saw a flaming man stand on top of the buildings with excited grin. This flaming man was also wearing Terry's outfit from earlier. Can you feel it? The air of freedom and despair! Because it's here in demon form, for Fury will deliver it to you. Who's Fury? Seems like the Terry's jackal. Fury didn't jump down to the air level as he let go of some of the chains on his wrists. He didn't walk at them slowly with his sinister face. You two dare to stand in my way? I guess I had a little fun with some of the newbies. The loose part of the chain lit on fire. He threw it one of them. Mikey braced for impact, but David stood in the way after catching it. He looked at Fury with a furious look. Get lost. You're not welcome here. Mikey looked at him confused as David seemed to be unaffected by the attack. Fire resistant, eh? Not the first time I've seen one of you. How about go flying like the others? He then flung the chain back with David along with it, sending him into a nearby building. He crashed into it, breaking a wall in the process. Fury then turned to Mikey with the same unchanging look. You're next! As he said that, a flaming arrow pierced his chest with David getting up in the rubble. You think that dinky little arrow's gonna put me down? No, but it distracted you. Fury then saw Mikey come up with him with a caustic aura and punch Fury straight in the face. It stuck with him for a bit, for David to get up and hit him with the flame sword he formed. With one last barrage of punches from Mikey, Fury let down in pain. The flames then frisked away as they revealed the knocked out Terry. Both David and Mikey looked at each other, knowing what needed to be done next. They went back to the hotel room with Terry laying on one of the beds, still unconscious. I gotta say, this is the first I've ever seen anything like this. I'm not sure if I even saw that correctly. Mikey took a hard look at Terry and then turned to David with another question. I'm gonna ask when he gets up. What I want to know is, how did that fire chain not affect you? Abilities have secondary things to them. Each one has a base element to it. For instance, Phoenix is a base fire element. I'm not sure what his is, but we can tell it's also a base fire as well. When two abilities meet each other and have the same base element to it, it doesn't affect each other when they use it. They have to rely on traditional means, like the chain on its wrist throwing me aside. Really? For my sake, what element is cosmic? Space element. After David said that, Terry finally woke up. Oh, what happened? We're gonna ask you the same thing. Terry didn't realize where he was. You guys again. What do you want from... He looked outside to see it was dark out, and he lay back in his bed in frustration. He came out again, didn't he? Who? Fury, the demon thing that took my body. He sure did. I would have scared a lot of people. Who is Fury anyway? It's a long story that I don't want to talk about, but he's pretty much my second personality. It's like a soul thing in my body, and every time I lose focus or lose any sense of grip in my mind, he comes out and does his thing. Sometimes he kills people, sometimes he burns things down. He does a lot of things, and as you can see, people are afraid of him. Can't you control him? No. Every time he gets out, he always does his thing. He calls it letting out steam, but clearly he goes beyond that. So I try to keep him down, deep down inside of me, and not lose any focus whatsoever. But sometimes I can't help it. Whenever I hear a trigger word such as hybrid or something as mundane as falling asleep, he sees it as an opportunity to come out. I guess that makes sense on why you lashed out earlier. Sorry for calling you that. I understand. You obviously didn't know. Speaking of which, why'd you guys come over earlier anyway? We, well, or like he, wanted your help for something related to the Starvanian King. Yeah, Fran's supposed to be that guy, and I thought you would have helped us. David looked at him angrily, almost like he didn't want Mikey to say that, but it was too late. Wait, you're supposed to be the prophesied king? So that's why Fury keeps mentioning you had a cosmic aura around you. Only a Starkist will have that. Yeah, well I heard the story. I'm afraid I don't know much about your predicament. I also can't really much help either. One, because I don't know where to go. Two, because I have no control over Fury. I can't come with you either. I don't like hurting innocent people. And as long as I have no control over Fury, it's definitely gonna happen. I see. Well, if we can help you gain control over him, would you help us? David looked disgusted towards him, but Terry shook his head in response. Well, I appreciate the thought. I don't think anything would keep him at bay. Still, he seemed like a good person. I suppose it wouldn't hurt for you to help. Yet, I will warn you, it's kind of impossible. Great! Then come to the hotel tomorrow. I'll help you then. Okay. Good night then. Sorry for the Fury incident. It's alright. Have a nice rest. David enters the door after Terry leaves, and turns to Mikey in anger. Why'd you do that? Terry seemed to be much nicer, and I really want to help him. We have pressing matters at hand, and not only are you going to give away your identity as the King of Starvania, but also help out someone getting control over a little demon. He seems like he needs it. Besides, I'm not going to stand by after watching someone in pain like I did back. Mikey stopped himself before he continued further. David facepalmed out of his statement. You have no idea what you're getting into. Neither was I when I agreed to come with you, and here I am now. Look, you might not think I'm doing the right thing here, but as soon to be king, I order that we help this man. Don't let the power get to your head yet, buddy. Fine. I suppose we can help him for a bit, but if it doesn't work out, we'll leave him be, and go our merry way. Take that as an order from your guide. Mikey nodded in understanding, and the two decided to go to bed. The next scene shows Terry walking back to his house in gloom. But before he went in, he saw a mysterious black figure standing by his door. He had a black cape that went below his knees, and a black hood covering his face, leaning on the wall with his arms crossed. Hello, Terry. It's been a while. Terry took a step back, and he realized the bent of his chain while spawning fire over it while saying, You. He threw the chain at the figure, but went right through him. Don't bother. This is rejection of me. Terry put the chain back and looked at him angrily. What do you want from me, Darky? I have an assignment for you, if it isn't too much to ask. It is. I'm not agreeing to a single word you say. Now, Terry, you know what I'm going to say. And I don't care. I'm not going back to that life. That's not what I ask of you. In case you forgot, I walked away from that life as well. Well, I was going to ask if you were able to assassinate someone for me. And who might that be? There seems to be a kid who goes by the name Mikey, and he has a friend named David. I wish for you to kill them both, if you are so kind. I heard he was close to where you're at, and it shouldn't be too hard to find him. I would do it myself, but I have more pressing issues to worry about at the moment. You can name your price later after you kill them. No, I'm not just some pawn for you to control. Besides, he sounds like a nice kid. I don't want to harm him. The figure of Darky then spawned behind Terry, sending chills up his spine. I don't care what kind of affection you show for that boy. I want you to kill him. There are many ways I can pay you, and maybe spare your life might be something to fight for. You wouldn't kill me. You know it's impossible. So please, let me be. I'm sure you'll find some gullible schmuck who would do something like that. Darky then thought for a moment, and then came to a realization. Very well. If you wish not to do it, then I guess I can't force you. So, at the very least, I can ask you to remain neutral during this. Even if I didn't, you know I can't beat you. Yet, I'll think about it. You better think wisely then. Well, it's been nice talking to you, Terry. Hope the other guy isn't bothering you too much. Darky's figure then went away with Terry giving a serious look at him. He walked inside a lot in his mind, and the night continued to go on. It's now day, and Mikey and David are seen by Terry's house as Terry stands beside them. Okay, I stayed up all night thinking about many different ways to keep Fury inside. I figure at least one of these should work. David still thought this was a bad idea, but let Mikey have his fun as he tried to help Terry. I doubt any of them will, but let's give him a shot. Mikey then handed a notebook and a pencil to Terry with a grin. You said earlier there are certain trigger words that release Fury. How about you write them down? We can tell people to never say them. Terry shrugged and began to write really fast. I guess it's not a bad idea. Don't say them, and show up. There can't be too many words that trigger him. After a while, Terry was in a notebook to Mikey, where he accessed them. But one thing became very clear from the get-go. Terry, that appears to be a lot of words. Also, a lot of them appear to be very common. Yeah, and that's only the first 100 I can think of. In fact, I'm barely holding composure right now as we speak. You can try to hit him over and over again, growing stronger at each try. Believe me, I've been trying that for many years now. You can see some of the burn marks back there from my last attempt. Right, so that obviously won't work. That's alright, this is why I thought of more ways. How about push Fury deep down to the point where... Tried it. Not much success there either. Mikey tried listening to ideas one after another, but each one was met with tried it or doesn't work. It wasn't until one idea that came to mind that seemed to have a positive reception. Maybe what you need to do is show people that you, Terry, aren't very harmful. Think about it. Fury might feel threatened by some of the folks that he feels like he needs to come out and defend himself. Terry thought for a moment to see if he had a retort for it, but he didn't. Never tried that. Might be worth a shot. And so they walked towards the town to try out the method. They went to one person to another. Some of them ran terror, and pretty much none of them were willing to give Terry an honest shot. That is until one gentleman, who seemed to be relatively old, came up, wanting to do just that. So you're the guy they're all afraid of. You don't seem so bad. You think so, huh? Oh, what's your name? My name's Jerry. I run a hotel here. The one you took refuge in last night. I see. Apologies for what I did. That's okay. I know it wasn't you who did that stuff. Mikey seemed happy about this, while David was surprised that it seemed to be working. I know it's up front, but you don't hate me, do you? Hate you? How can I hate someone I barely know? I figure with all the attacks my alter ego does around here, there might be some disdain. I know it wasn't you. I might have overheard your conversation last night with the others about it. I hate him for those instances, if anything. As he said that, the twitching came back on Terry, but he kept it together for now. He didn't ran back to Mikey with him giving chase. They sat behind one of the buildings to take a deep breath. I'm sorry, I don't think that will do much work either. It's not that there's a threat against me, summons him, but just hating his name will do that. I see, then I guess you might need professional help then. Is there a counselor in this town? The twitch became more aggressive, with Terry trying his best to keep under control. Look, Mikey, it's not working out. He will stay quiet. I'm sorry, but you can't help me. I can't help you either. Mikey tried to stop him, but it was too late as Terry ran away once again. Mikey tried to follow, but David stopped him before he did so. You tried, Mikey, but when something isn't coming together, you can't force it together. Mikey then began to shed tears as he gave up, and he then walked towards the edge of the house as he continued to cry. He sat down and wiped away some of the tears. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I know you're right, but I can't give up on him. Then like I did to James. Who's James? James is a friend of mine back at the orphanage. He was about 5 years older than me, and he showed me the ropes around the place. It was like my older brother in a way, and he was banned by his parents. That's why he was at the orphanage. He had some sort of multiple personality disorder that his parents didn't feel like dealing with, and because of that, he had a hard time controlling it. I didn't know about it until I was 7. Even then, I still didn't understand it. Over the months, it got worse and worse. He couldn't control his other personality, and it led to violent outbursts. No one helped him either. I stood by because I didn't understand what was happening, and the staff at the orphanage stood by because they didn't care. It got too much, and one day he lost control. His second personality took control and did some despicable things to other kids and staff members. He had to be locked away because of it. That's when I tried to help him, but there's nothing I could do. So I gave up because of it, and after I did, Mikey couldn't finish his last sentence. His tears burst right through with David confronting him. Terry listened from a distance and cried a bit himself. So that's why you went up, Terry. Not because you thought you could help us or that you knew something about the prophecy. The moment I heard he was a hybrid, that's all I thought about. That's what James kept calling himself too, and so I felt like I owed it to him. I understand completely, but that's life for you. You can't help everybody, even when you want to. Some people just can't be saved. I know it's cruel reality, but that's just how it is. After the conversation, Terry began to think for a bit from some distance he was. As he was standing there, he heard a voice deep in him. You can't hold on forever. I'm gonna break out again. Shut up. This isn't the time for that. You actually feel bad for the kid? When was the last time you felt bad for someone other than yourself? Terry then grew angry and angry before he got to the point where he ran back to him in a fit of rage. Will you stop crying? Terry, do you really think of being your friend like that? I understand it's hard to help, but act like we're just some sort of broken down machines that with one simple solution can get fixed. It's not like that. David didn't prepare his bow as he knew where his conversation was going. You truly don't know the pain we're going through. At first I thought you were trying to help me because you said to me. In reality, you're only doing this to feel better about yourself and the mistake you made. You act like this selfless act of helping someone just like that guy will make your conscience clean. Let me tell you, buddy, my problem isn't just some great equalizer for you. My problem stayed with me my entire life and has always remained to haunt me today. You're no different than the others. Maybe worse. Unless they're honest about how they feel about me. I just wanted to help. More tears ran down his face, and Terry started choking on his own words as he fought himself. He didn't try to swallow it down as his real voice came over. Mikey, ignore him. He's starting to take control. Both David and Mikey looked at him in shock as Terry was starting to fight back. What's going on? Fury has had enough. He wants out. He's trying to get you to fight him. It took a bit more before Terry collapsed in exhaustion. The fire came out again to reveal Fury taking over. Finally, he gave up. I guess all things really meant nothing after all. Mikey wiped away remaining tears, and along with David, they got into a stance, preparing to fight. So, you want another round with me? Bring it on then, I just see you try. Fury let out a firewall that blocked their paths, and then he used his chain to attach it to Mikey. He sent him flying and hit the ground hard. David tried to use his fire sword against him, but it had no effect. Fury then sent him flying with a hard punch in the gut. Fury then walks over to Mikey with a sinister grin. You think you can just lock me away and throw away the key deep down inside his body? But you can't get rid of me. I'm a burning passion that wants freedom. Freedom that I can only get myself. And if I had to kill some preteen idiot who takes a simple list of ideas will get rid of me, and I'll do it in a heartbeat. Mikey tried to release his cosmic aura, but Fury just let him down the ground hard again. Did you really mean what you said back there? Does it matter now? I've said a lot of things over the years. I guess that's for you to decide. Fury then prepared for one final attack. However, before he could do anything, he felt a seething pain from his back. It was David, who stabbed him directly in the back with his sword. David pulled it out to leave Fury in disarray, giving Mikey enough time to get up with it all around him. Well, I decided you don't really understand me. Mikey gave one solid kick to the face, and Fury fell to the ground, still in disarray. David forced Mikey along, and then ran away from the scene before Fury had a chance to get up. Quickly, they ran back into the forest for a little while, and stopped to see that they weren't being chased. They didn't look to take a second to take a break. I'm sorry, David. Don't apologize. Your heart was in the right place. Yeah, but just listen to you. Stop it. You don't have to apologize for anything. You were helping someone in need. Sure, it didn't work out, but you already proved me a better person than, well, most people I know. Mikey didn't know what else to say. After a second of them catching their breath, they continued to walk the same way they ran. Now then, let's continue to find the sword. We should find another town where people might have some idea of where we need to go. Mikey looked back once more to see if Fury was still following, but he wasn't. He still looked apologetic, but he came to terms with the situation. Back in the town, Terry was walking back to his house. As he walked by, Darky's projection came back after him with him noticing. Missed me that much, did ya? I wanted to see if you changed your mind. Terry just looked away from him as he struggled to hold together. Darky noticed it, and an idea spawned in his head. You know I can help you in your situation here. I studied that book. You don't know a single spell that can help me. Not from the book. There are a few spells you don't know about. Especially ones that can separate souls from each other. Or at least keep them under control. I don't believe you. Oh, that's your problem to deal with anyway. If you want to keep living through that pain, then so be it. Terry thought for a few moments. After a while, he came to a clearer thought. Darky's projection started to walk away again, but this time, Terry stopped him with a startled look. Can you really separate us? Only to bring me the dead bodies of Michael Circus and David Emblem. Do that, and I'll help you. Do we have a deal? Terry thought for a few more seconds, and he came to a clear thought once more. Deal. Darky's projection went away, and Terry came to terms with the decision he made.